Okay, let's debrief the class set. So this first problem is get middle, where you are supposed to return the middle 3 characters for an odd length string and the middle 2 characters for an even length string. So let's do it. Get middle, so yo-yo we know should output oi, and get middle hello should output ell. All right, so let's create the method. It's going to return a string, and I'll call the input str. Whoops. Okay, so my thought about how to go about this is, let's first calculate where the middle of the string is. So let's think about, so the string length in this case would be 4. 4 divided by 2 would be 2, and here's 0. So 2 would be there for an even length string. For an odd length string, this length is 5. 5, when you integer divide it in half, is also 2. So it's going to give us the same position. So for an odd length string, it really is the middle. For an even length string, it's kind of one past the middle. So let's do that. I'm going to define mid will be str.length divided by 2. If the string length is even, so when I mod it by 2, if it's if it's divisible by 2, then I would want to get the character right before mid up to the character at mid. So I'm going to return string.substring from mid -1 up to mid +1, because mid would be this y and mid +1 would be the o, but it doesn't include the o. Otherwise, I will return string.substring starting at mid -1. So let's think about if this is different. So what did I say? So mid was this character. So starting at mid -1 up to mid +1 +2. So I want all 3 of those. So this one would be mid +3. And then I don't need that. So that would be one straightforward way to go about it. Let's test it to make sure it works. Okay, it looks like I'm off by 1 because ELLO is too large. So what did I... Oh, yeah. All right. Very easy to be off by 1. That's why we test things. All right, one more time. Okay, there we go. Cool, so that's the first problem. Let's look at the second problem. So count doubles. So I've got an input string, and then I've got a target string. But we want to count how many times the target string gets doubled. So here, yo-yo would count as 1. And I didn't write this, but the way that I'm thinking about it, if we had this, yo-yo would happen twice. It happens once here, and then a second time there. So there's several ways you could approach this. This time, I guess I'm just going to program it like this. So int count doubles string str. So my thought is, let's loop over the input string index by index and search for 2 occurrences of target. So I'm going to define something called to find, which is going to be target plus target. And now let's loop over each index one at a time. And I'm going to get a string called to test, which is going to be string.substring, starting at I, going up to find.length. And this is going to go out of bounds, and we'll have to fix that in a minute. But then we'll say if to test equals to find, then we'll increment the counter, which will return at the end. Okay, and now, so because I'm adding an additional, well, let's think about how many extra characters I'm adding onto the end past 1. Right? If I just did I to I plus 1, that would be 1 character. Here, I'm adding on an additional 2 find.length characters. So I want to end that many characters early. Again, it's really easy to be off by 1, so let's test it and see what's going to be a good test string. Count doubles So hello, yo, 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 hey. And then I'm going to find yo. So I believe that this should return 1, 2, 3. I think this should return 3. And it does. Okay, great. Let's do, well, I guess let's test for a single O. I think this should return 0. It's good to include test cases that have a variety of things. So let's do 2 there, 2 there. All right, so this should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think this should return 4 because there are 4 double O's happening. Okay, all right, so that seems to be working. Let's do the next one. Okay, this one says expand. So it looks like the first letter counts once, the second letter counts twice, the third letter counts 3 times, and so on. So let's comment these out. So expand, THE. Nope. I want to create my own. I don't want to import. Okay, whatever. Public static string expand string str. So I want to loop over the string 1 letter at a time. And I'll get each letter 1 at a time. But now I want to add to an output string. That will be empty. But last time we did something like this. We said out plus equals letter plus letter, and that's going to double every letter. This time, the number of repetitions for letter is going to depend. So let's have another loop where the number of times I'm going to loop is I plus 1. Because think about it. When I is 0, that's the first letter, and I want to include it once. When I is 1, that's the second letter, and that means I want to loop it twice. So I plus 1 is the number of repetitions I want for adding that letter into output. And then at the end, I'll return out. Okay, let's try it. All right, that seems like it's working. THHEEE. Let's try the next one. So for this problem, excuse me, convert time. So it looks like the input is given 2 digits for hour, 2 digits for minute, 2 digits for second. And I want to extract them and then output it in this format. So I'm going to copy that. Okay. Convert time. Let's create the method. It'll return a string, str. So I don't need to do index of to search for the location of the colon because I already know where the colons are going to be. So let's do this. String hour equals str substring 0, 1, 2, 0 to 2. String minute equals string.substring starting at 3, is it? Let's see. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3. And then up to 5. Nope. 3, 4. Yeah, 3 up to 5. Then second equals string.substring. Starting at 6 up to 8. And so now let's return a new string that's going to be what? Hour plus the word hours and a comma, and then minute plus min and a comma, and then second plus seconds. Is that what it's supposed to output? Seconds, yes. Okay, let's try that one. Okay, that looks like it worked. So let's do another one. Here we've got parse line, where I have a name up to a double dash, and then a number and a comma and another number. So here we really do need to use index of in order to figure out where's the double dash and where's the comma. So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and actually Copy this as my test case. What was it called? Parse line, that's right. All right. Let's create the method. It'll return a string, str. Okay, so let's define a string called name, which is going to be substring starting at 0, going up to where we find the index of the dash dash. That makes sense? Although, actually, let's save the index where we find the dash dash. And the reason I'm saving the index is because I want to use that to determine my starting point for the start time. So I'm going to get a substring starting at the dashes, but the dashes plus 1, 2, up to wherever I find the comma. So let's figure out where the first comma is. And then the end time, I'm going to start searching one character past where the comma was, and I'm going to go all the way to the end of the string. And now my return string is going to look like, what's it going to look like? The name, and then start colon start time, end colon end time. Okay, so the name plus the word start, and then the start time, and then the word end, and then the end time. All right, let's take a look at that one. Okay, so it looks like maybe there's some weirdness happening with the spaces. But generally speaking, this is what I wanted to have you guys do, was think about how to use index of to find a certain key indices, and then use substring to get out parts of the text between the key indices. All right, let's do one more. Oh, that's the end of lunch. So actually, I'm going to stop here. I hope that this was helpful.